There is beauty and tradition in the dance. Grace in every step. Power in every turn. Our dance is an honor to perform. And the last thing our enemies will ever see.
So how'd you do, guys? The Irelia Rework teaser went live today, and it kind of showed what Irelia is probably going to be like in-game without specifying which ability is what. And I'm making this video for a couple of reasons. One, I'm probably going to name it something that unfortunately maybe is considered clickbait. It's going to be something like Jinx versus the Irelia Rework. And the reason I say clickbait is because obviously the rework hasn't come out yet, so we can't actually know what that matchup would be like, playing against the new reworked Irelia as Jinx. But I'm using Jinx kind of to represent my general champion pool, which happens to be a mobile champions across all of the lanes, all the roles, even top lane, in which case things like Darius and Garen are, even though they're powerful and they want to be close to stuff, are considered immobile. So, and with that said, that's kind of why I'm naming it something like that. Furthermore, Irelia is also going to kind of represent a problem I've kind of had with champions and reworks that have come out in the last 2.5 years. Now, what I mean by that is not to say the new Irelia rework looks terrible or anything like that. I actually think it looks fantastic to play as. It'll probably be pretty fun to play with, but my biggest problem so far has kind of been with these things is, hey, my champion pool is somewhat immobile, that thing has a lot of mobility, and unless I get peeled for very hard, I'm probably not going to have a lot of fun playing what I like playing against this champion. I'm probably going to have to be forced to play some other things. Which is fine, right? Unless you're like a one trick that can make anything work all the time, you probably do have to, differentiate your champion pool every now and again anyways. And on top of that, Irelia hasn't even hit the PvE yet, so obviously, for as much mobility and stuff that she has, she probably has some trade-offs, right? Like, speaking of Jinx, Jinx is immobile, but her trade-off is she has a lot of long-range damage, and it can get to be a long-range high damage, and that's kind of what the balance is there, so to speak. Not saying the damage she does, everybody's going to consider balance, but when you look at Jinx or mobile champions, that tends to kind of be the idea, right? Maybe they're long-range because they're also immobile, meaning if you're chasing them down or you get close to them, they're not going to do a lot of close-range stuff. Irelia, meanwhile, maybe she has a lot of mobility, maybe she also apparently still has her stun, but she can't build particularly tanky anymore. She can't go like Trinity Force into full tank, and that works. Her scalings or whatever aren't that great, or she'll lose a lot of damage if she does that. That's going to punish her that way. So that is to say, I don't think the rework is bad by any means, but it is an issue that I've kind of been having lately with a lot of these champions, all the way back to like Aurelia's Soul, how he can just kind of roam down with this E from a certain distance, especially if he maxes it. Talia with her wall, in which case she could be getting bodied mid lane, but still kind of use her ultimate to travel down to the bottom lane as well. Kind of just different things like that I've noticed. So even though I look at certain champions and reworks, and when they come out, I'm like, hey, that actually looks pretty cool to play as, considering I may maybe never have played that champion. Part of me goes, also, that looks like it's going to be very painful to play the kind of champions I want to play. It's just been a kind of a consistent thing that now I'm making a video about it when it comes to Irelia. But again, I want to clarify, that's not to say that I think the Irelia rework is bad. It probably could also be way more balanced than maybe I think it's going to be, even against some mobile champions. But another thing there is also that peeling, right? Unless, well, depending on your MMR, you probably don't have a lot of peel going for you. So part of the issue could also be that if you want to play Kog'Maw, you need a lot of peel, and your team doesn't often tend to peel for you. They just tend to go all in and try and blow up the enemy AD carry, and even though your team might end up winning the game, it feels bad that you died 6 times, literally because your champion just needed more peel, because they just don't have the ability to deal with a lot of these reworks and champions with their mobility that they have. Because it's not even like a one dash kind of thing, or a Talia wall. If you look at this teaser, Irelia is dashing probably like Katarina dashes with her daggers. right? But Katarina doesn't have a stun or any form of hard CC. Like I said, apparently Irelia still has her stun, so this will be very interesting to see. But this isn't to badmouth the Irelia Rework. This is actually to open a conversation to you guys about, are there certain reworks that with their mobility or anything like that, they kind of make a champion you don't like to play, or like to play, kind of feel bad to play that champion against that thing? And as such, what solutions do you usually have? Do you just kind of tough it out and play the champion anyway, because maybe you just have the most fun? Like, speaking of Jinx again, maybe you just, for example, really just like playing Jinx anyways. So even though it might be more painful to play Jinx against really mobile stuff, you still want to have the most fun, and that's by playing Jinx. So maybe you just do it anyway. Or are you someone who's like, okay, it's time to differentiate the champion pool. I'm not much of a, say, Lucian or Ezreal player, but they're mobile, so I'm going to start playing those guys instead of Kog'Maw or Jinx, or from the mid lane of mobile mages, or from the top lane instead of the Juggernaut stuff, which I think might actually be able to play against this Irelia, since they will do a bunch of damage, but they can also be kited, so if Aurelia's running away from you, she just kind of ghosts. You're not going to see anything but apparently the frost butt, because that is one thing that has been confirmed about Irelia. They kept the frost booty. If you know what that means, I don't have to explain that any further. But that's all for this video, and that's the question I'm going to leave you guys with. So, I don't know which video will be next, because life be quite a mess. So until next time, take care from the Fire God FS. Thank you for watching.